Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for the Chakra Diva show. I am your host, Amber Poole. And this evening, this Thursday, we have a very special guest. We have Samantha Kerouac. Derek? Yay! So welcome to the show. Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. So I just want to apologize that we were just a few seconds late because of retrograde, obviously. There's a lot of technical issues when we go into retrograde. So I am extremely excited. I waited, 6 weeks to have you on my show. I love Sam. Okay. She is, what year did I meet you? Like 2016, I think.
Maybe 17?
Okay.
Yeah, I think 17.
So 2017, she took our Crystal Reiki masterclass, and she was one of the core group. Like, we had a very strong core group during that time. And I love her energy, like 100%, because when you're going through the Crystal Reiki class, you're learning about everything. And you have grown so much. I get to watch you on social media since that time and really expand, really come out of your shell in ways that you didn't when people put on that red dress and that red lipstick and they're like, holla, this is me. That's you 100%. You just took down your old shell and you have a brand new shell that's on. You're glimmery and shining. And I want to talk all about it. So it's been a few years. So catch me up to date. Crystal Reiki started you off, and then you did what?
Yeah, when you think about it, that's a long time ago that we met. It's
a long time ago.
Yeah, since then, I totally agree with what you said. It's sort of like I've gone through this, I guess, layering or delayering, and now I'm like this person, and I just feel like there have been a lot of growth, a lot of learning and unlearning, and just a lot of healing on self-worth.
Yes. That's what I love about you. From watching you from an outsider, it's amazing, right? You keep showing up for yourself. And that's what I really love about you. It's not a lot of us healers, especially me, it's taking care of other people, sharing things with other people. And then you get to this point when you're like, I have to look at myself and I have to see what's going on. And you have done so much self-love. And I admire that so much about you. So let me brag. She's an author of a book. Yes?
Yep.
She's a teacher.
That just reached international bestseller.
Did it really? That's fantastic. All right. So tell us about the book. Tell us what's going on in there.
Well, the book, it is co-authoring, and it is through Your Holistic Earth. And it is a book all on healing. It is called Heal 4.0. And it tells my story of how, I guess, I got to where I am today, of accepting, personal health issues that kind of set me back a little bit, and how I worked through them to kind of get to showing up as me and being okay with either how I look, how my body's working or not working. It's been a journey. And it was very cathartic to write that chapter as well. And there are things that came up as I was writing, going all of a sudden I'm ugly crying. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm still going to work through that.
Yes. So when we were in class, I remember you had all these ideas and you're like, I can go in this direction or I can go in this direction, but I don't know. And it almost looked like you were coming up to the front of fear, like what's coming up on your plate. And then all of a sudden you just shedded everything. So tell me about that. What was the main point that took you into this place where you are now? How did you get up this hill and stand on top of it? What's going on?
I think I just got to a point where I was tired of hiding and being small and playing small, where I kind of was like, you know what, this is who I am. I want to show up as authentic with all the, the good, the bad, the ugly, and just this is who I am, and really step into my path, my purpose. And I went deeper into Reiki, which was amazing. So before Crystal Reiki, I was Usui Master, then Crystal, and now Holy Fire. And then I also learned how to read the Akashic Records.
Mhm.
And all those things just kind of like opened up different layers of healing that I didn't even know I needed to heal until they presented themselves. And then I was like, okay, and work through them. And yeah, it's kind of incredible to see sort of the person I was. I don't even know if I recognize that person anymore.
I don't.
Yeah,
And that's from looking at you from an outsider point of view, right? Because to me, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, she's kicking ass again. Like she's doing something else. And I love to watch you grow. So
Okay.
you are teaching Crystal Reiki now, which I'm still teaching it. Can you believe that? I was like,
That's
how many years? It's one of my favorite because I love crystals, right? I resonate with crystals.
exactly.
Fantastic.
No,
So tell me, you're teaching Crystal Reiki. You have a class coming up soon.
so the crystal Reiki I'm going to do in the fall, but I am doing two crystal classes in June. The first one is sort of like the introduction to crystals, how to choose a crystal, how to clear a crystal, just the real basics. So I feel like some people, not that they're intimidated, but maybe they're almost scared to ask questions because like maybe everyone should already know that and I don't. So I wanted to make it just very beginner friendly. And then the second class is more diving deep into how to work with crystals. So how to program them, how to grid your house with them, how to use a pendulum, all those fun things
Is that
that lead
online or
into
is that in person?
on Zoom.
Fantastic. So just for you all who do not know, Sam is in Canada.
I am.
Yes. Are you taking sessions in person as well?
I am, yes.
Fantastic. Then shout out to Canada. Just want to say that. What I also loved about your site, because I was going through it, is that you do Reiki with children.
I do.
That is such a big area um, that I think is very needed to show like my kids, when I would send them off to school, I would put crystals all in their book bag because I knew what they needed. They were in kindergarten. I like loaded them up and I'm like, see you guys, have a good day. Right?
Oh, I do
So
the same.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, my kids, they have their crystals. They have their crystals in their bedrooms. They have their crystal bracelets. I mean, our whole house is, crystals are magical, so you might as well use them.
Yes. In a way that you teach them how to do Reiki, though, right? Is
With
that part of
kids,
the class? Yeah.
I'm going to be teaching kids Reiki, but right now I do Reiki on kids.
Okay. Got it. Completely
So,
understand.
yeah.
Which is nice because if you start young, like I feel like this is one of the things that if we were taught it back in the day, then I would be so advanced where I am as a soul, as a spirit to help me out. So it's important for this new generation coming up to teach them crystal Reiki, any kind of self healing modality on an energy level.
Yeah, it just even just like when I'm working with the kids, just to even talk to them about their energy and sometimes maybe they're experiencing things that's not theirs. It's they've picked it up and how to protect their energy and just how to, I guess, like ground and how to kind of create a bubble for themselves when they are out in school and it's stressful and they're feeling overwhelmed. I love talking to kids about it because they're so open.
Yes. Well, that's part of the problem,
Yeah.
right? Kids are just so open and they don't know any boundaries until we give them boundaries or tell them who to be and structure them. But I remember like I was a really intuitive child. I always was. I could always see colors. I could always connect in, empathic. So I was always feeling everybody else. Um, and I find that a lot of kids are that way too, especially when you have anxiety, right? Everybody says, I have anxiety. Well, where does this anxiety come from?
Yeah, and I think like you, I did have a lot of, and I was very empathic and I was very intuitive, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Right.
And it's very overwhelming, I think, for a child. And for me, I ended up just shutting it down as a kid because it was just, I didn't understand it. And there was no one to talk to about what was going on.
When I said my prayers at night, I had this long list, right? And I want to pray for the homeless people and I want to pray for the woman on the street. I would pray for as many people that I could possibly reach in my mind. And I felt like I was taking all of their pain in, like I just
Right.
wanted to heal the world as a child.
Wow.
Right. But nobody ever says, well, that's empathy. How do we, put boundaries of what's yours and what's not yours? And I feel like children need to learn how to do this stuff so that they can be in control and in charge of their own energy. And I love that you're stepping in that direction.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun to talk to kids, and I've had some great conversations with kids, and some of the stuff that I've had kids go like, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought I was the only one that could see these things." I'm like, "No," and even the parents were like, "I had no idea." And so it's wonderful because the parents are also there when I'm doing Reiki on the kids, because just for safety for them too, and they want to have that support system. So it's good because it also has that conversation with the parents, and it almost kind of creates this bridge for them to talk to each other
Mm,
afterwards about, what the experience of Reiki was like and the different energies. So it's really special. I'm really I'm always honored when I have those clients.
yeah, no, that's really special. When I was growing up and my mom found out that I was gifted, she like put me in tarot card reading. She gave me the Ouija board. She's like, I don't know what to do with you. We didn't have, these type of things to communicate, to talk, to be open, to understand what is energy and how is it affecting us and those kind of things. So
Yes.
I love your work. I love what you're doing. And I also want to talk about the Akashic Records because that's one of my um, favorite ways to help people heal.
Isn't it amazing?
It's yes, 100%. Because I'm like, let's go up and see what other books we have or see what else is up there. So
I
for
love
people who do not know the Akashic Records, start us there.
so I always say for the Akashic Records, it's kind of like this giant Google database of energetic vibrations that contain all the information from once your soul was created to present, and then sort of like possible future is what I say, because we're humans and there's free will and we make choices along the way. And we've signed up for different things to experience in this lifetime. And sometimes we have to take the lessons a few times before we master them.
Mhm.
So that is sort of how we're there. But for me, that was one of the bigger things too for healing, is just experiencing the energy of the Akashic Records. It is such a high vibrational frequency that it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. The first time I was there, I jumped out of it. Like I was in awe at the colors, at the vibrancy of it. And, I was looking at the thousands of books that were around me and a beautiful table. And I remember this guy like trying to hand me a book and he was like, look at it, look at it. And I'm like, do you see these colors? Like in our life, we don't have colors like this. It was so amazing that I couldn't even focus. And then
Yeah,
I jumped
it's
out
a
of it.
yeah, it is a lot. The first time you go in, it's very overwhelming, and then afterwards, it's almost like you have like this energy hangover, where you're
I
like,
love it.
"What was that?" It's like,
So tell us, why would somebody go up there? Like, what can they get out of that work kind of work?
so most of the clients that I have that I do Akashic Records readings for, they're feeling disconnected from themselves, or they're feeling lost, they're feeling alone, and they don't know why they're either spinning or why they keep having these relationships with certain people, or why they keep um, going down the path that they thought they were supposed to be on, and then it changes. So most of it is just this: they want to have a deeper understanding of themselves.
I think that's what we all want, like a deeper connection into our spirit, into our soul, and
Yeah.
understanding it. I am under the assumption, and this is my personal belief, that you can pull out any one of those books at any time. Like, although we're here for, let's say, 100 years,
Mhm.
if I needed to know something and I already lived a life as a sailor, I'm going up there and I'm pulling in that information that I need to know, downloading it again so that it will help me in this environment. And I don't think we do that enough. Like
We don't.
you are so many people at so many different times accomplishing and maybe not accomplishing different things that come up that I don't think we have to relive and learn everything. I think we can just pull out the book that we needed to pull out.
I think so, but I think also we're human, and for some reason we like to relearn things, and we like to go the hard way.
True.
I feel like that's like, to really get it, we got to keep going and try it again. Because it can't be that easy, right? But I feel like, yeah, I agree. Like it can be that easy, but I think you have to believe it and be open to receive it.
Ooh, pearls of wisdom. That's what I love. One of my favorite Akashic books that I have had to pull out was a relationship with my husband. So my husband now, I knew him in a previous life. And I think a lot of our connections, that's how they come up. Like I know we might have been friends, right? Or we might have did whatever we did in a previous life. And then you come back because I recognize your soul. And there's people that I run into that I'm like, I know them. Like, I don't know how I know them, but I feel so connected to them on a very deep level. And it's because I've been there before. So I always laugh. Like my husband, I picked him up on the side of the road because I heard pick him up. Like I was driving and I heard a voice in my head say, pick him up. And I turned my car around and I was like, hey, you want to get in my car? Like, you need a ride? And then we've been together for 20 years. And it's just because of this previous life that we had experienced together.
It's amazing. And that you listened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you though. Sometimes we don't listen to those little voices. So like, that's amazing that you trusted it and you listened.
As being an adult, if I were back to my 16-year-old self again, I'd be like, you better not do that. Okay. That is not smart. And it's interesting because at the time he gave me his phone number and I gave it back to him because I was like, no, you don't have a car. But we met again 3 months later, like through a friend. And I was like, okay, meant to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. You're like you recognize souls.
Yes. And it doesn't matter. Like they can be your friend in this lifetime, but they could have been a lover, a coworker, in battle, somebody who killed you, whatever it is. And think about places too. Like how healing are places.
Yes. I know for me personally, like the mountains here, because I'm close to the mountains and here in Alberta. And there is something for me about there that I immediately feel it's just sort of magic to me. And I just feel completely like this is where I'm supposed to be.
I love that. I always felt a relationship in Ireland. Like I always wanted to go back to Ireland. I've never been there in this lifetime. And I'm like, that's where my soul resides, is in Ireland. I love it. So you also real quick have full moon ceremonies that come up?
Yep. Full moon gatherings. Yes. Where we do that on Zoom as well.
Fantastic. I'm like in 100%. I looked at your website, which please tell everybody what your website is.
It is samkirouac.com. So SAMKIROUAC.com.
Fantastic. I'm so happy to see you. You have so many wonderful things that are still coming up on the horizon because you don't let fear, you don't let things stand in your way. You just kind of go, okay, well, it's showing up and I'm going to heal it, deal with it, and move on. I love it.
Yes. Thank you.
One of the reasons why I'm so drawn to you, because you're like a powerhouse, okay? And you teach other people how to be a powerhouse and to live in their own power. So thank you so much for being on with me tonight.
Thank you. This has been so much fun.
Aw, thanks. And I hope that you and I get to connect again. I hope on the show for a whole 30 minutes. It would be fantastic.
Yes. No retrograde.
No retrograde, people. None. All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this evening. I will see you next Thursday. Have a great night.